Alright, so I'm going to try to get this in before it starts raining. I apologize for my voice, I'm still not quite awake yet. So let me get out here. So I'm going to come out here in this little area where I live and try to talk about a couple of things. And I'm going to keep in mind that I'm not professional. I don't know all the terminology they use. So I'm just going to use my own terminology. And you'll just have to deal with it. Because I'm sure that my own terminology probably matches the average writers, because we're not professionals and whatnot. So alright, so I'm just kind of cruising out here in this neighborhood where I live. I'm going to come out here. Normally I don't wear pink. You guys know I hate pink, but Night Rain got me these gloves and I feel like I should wear them today, and I'll tell you why. Is because with my black gloves that I always wear, they've got big huge knuckles on them, and it's really hard to see what I'm doing with my hands. You have to see over the... This looks like a good place. I don't know what the hell this place is, but it looks like a good place. All right. I can't breathe. Okay. So I hope you can see the fingers over here, because I'm wearing these pink gloves just for you so you can see what I'm doing. So when you're upshifting, or it's like when I'm upshifting, because I may do things differently than other people, and that's okay, because it works for me, and you're going to end up doing what works for you. So what works for me is when I'm going from first to second, or from second to third, what I do is I give a little up pressure on the shifter. So if I give a little, hold on, if I give a little bit of up pressure on it, just enough to where it doesn't actually shift gears, it makes it smoother. There's less that loud clicking. You can get rid of that just by putting a little bit of up pressure on it. And by doing that also, you're preparing yourself to just pop it up. You up pressure and you pop it up, and up pressure and you pop it up, and then you can shift gears faster, where you can go from first to second to third, and you can get from 0 to 60 faster just by doing that up pressure. And so that's what I'll be doing down there. So I'm not going to show you that while I'm going. And then here is when you all know how to upshift. And then you release it slowly. Even if you're popping those gears fast, you don't want to just let go, because then you're going to jerk. Even though you're doing this, you still want to be releasing that nice and slowly. So I'm going to go that way, and I'm going to be upshifting, and pay attention to how the speed at which I'm upshifting, but yet I'm not popping that. I'm still doing it slowly. Okay, so I'm going to do that first. And hopefully you can see that? Oh, windy. And now we're going to downshift a bit. I'm already in 6. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to downshift. And what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to rev it just a little bit as I squeeze the clutch in and downshift. And I'm still going to release it slowly. Okay? So as I squeeze this in, I'm going to roll this back just a little bit. See that? Let me try it again. I'm going to go down to 4th right now. I'm going to squeeze and red match it. Whee! And then I'm going to go do it again. I'm going to squeeze it, rev it just a little bit, watch for the cars. I'm going to get up to speed first so I can. Okay, so pay attention to both sides. You may have to rewind a little bit to be able to see this side, and then rewind and then go see this side. Okay, so I'm going to right past this bump anyway. Okay, now I'm gonna go down to 4th. And then 3rd. You see how I did that? Now I'm gonna downshift quickly when I come up to this shop. I'm just gonna go bloom, bloom, bloom. Don't forget your front brake over here too. Just like that. And now we're going to go up. You may have to rewind so you can watch both sides. And I want it to be known that whenever I'm coming up to a stop and I'm downshifting, I'm using both brakes, but I'm using the front brake more. So I'm getting on the front brake, and the back brake is I get on it and then I let it up just nice and slowly. I don't want to use the back brake too much, but I am using both of them at the same time. That's a great habit to get into. So if you're having to do emergency stops, you're clenching on both front and brake. But get in the habit and practice clenching on the both front and back brake, and then releasing the back slowly. I'm going to downshift up here and watch my fingers. Like that. And I'm speeding. We don't want to do that. But I love this neighborhood I live in. You can just practice your turns, everything at low speed. And somebody had mentioned that they don't know when and what RPM to shift at. General rule of thumb, and it's different for every bike. With my bike, it's very simple, and you can do it by ear. The general rule of thumb is 4th gear in the 40s, 3rd gear in the 30s, 2nd gear in the 20s, and so forth. If you want to watch this while you're doing it just to get a good idea of what that sounds like, that'd be great. But over time, you're just going to learn to know what that sounds like. Alright, we're going to come up to the stop here. I'm going to downshift kind of quickly. Just like that. And notice I'm releasing the clutch slowly. I'm not popping it. And I hope you can see with these pink gloves, because I don't wear pink for anybody. You guys are lucky. But thanks to Night Rain for giving me these. They actually do come in handy. Also mention, I'm not gripping this. It looks like I'm gripping it hard, but I'm really not. All I'm doing with this is I'm holding it with these two fingers and the pad of my hand. Okay, here's something. I'm on a hill, so I'm going to be taking off on a hill. I know a lot of you have difficulty with that. So see if I let go of the brake, I start rolling backwards. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of gas, let off the clutch just a little bit, and that keeps it from rolling backwards. You see that? I'm not popping it. Now let's talk about downshifting a little bit more. Notice, like I said, I'm not gripping it. I'm just doing this with it. And when I downshift, it's hard to explain. Let me see if I can do it this way. So you can see it better. I'm going to squeeze the clutch over here. I'm going to roll that just a little bit. See, you can barely even see how I'm rolling it. Man, that's uncomfortable. But yeah, you could, don't grip your grips. Don't grip that. Just, this is all it takes. And then if you want to roll on the throttle over here, just squeeze it. It'll roll all by itself. Okay, I'm going to try downshifting a lot slower. If you watch, going into third. And you couldn't see it, but I really was twisting that very, very lightly. Let's go to second. Here you go. See, when I twist it, I just go like that. Real super softly. And I just got my thumb hooked under it. And that's all I'm doing when I'm downshifting, is I just rev match just a little bit. I don't know what else to say about blipping and rev matching. I mean, you can just watch how subtle it is. It's not like you're rum, you know, because that'll just make your bike lurch. You don't want to do that. Just make sure it's very smooth and very subtle. Just, that's all it is right there on downshifting. And when you're I know the light's green, but there's nobody behind me. And when you're upshifting, make sure you let go of the gas before you shift. See, I'm going to upshift. Notice I'm going to let go of the gas just for a split second. And always let go of the clutch real slowly, otherwise you're going to lurch. You can actually upshift without the clutch just by putting that pressure on the shifter, like I said. I don't see a point in doing that. Personally, I like using that. It feels good. It's fun. But you can upshift just by using your preloading the shifter is what it's called. And I preload all the time because if I don't, then I hear a loud clicking and that really bugs me. I don't know why. I mean, it's supposed to click, but I don't like it. So I think I'm done with my instructional. Feel free to ask me questions on how I do things. Again, remember that I'm not a professional. This is just me riding for 10 years. This is just what I do, and this is how I do it. So, I mean, it works for me, and if I can help you, then and it works for you, great. I know I didn't stop. My bad. I'm gonna go home, so I'm gonna shut this off. And I suck at editing, so I probably won't be doing much editing. Probably just load it right up.